Here's what's making news tonight. A body is found on Madison's east side. Police are calling it a murder.
A threat of rain may spoil our weekend.
And Barry's Badgers take a beating.
We'll have this and more coming up next on News 3.
This is WISC News 3.
The Badgers home opener brought 45,000 to Camp Randall today and a nationwide TV audience. They came to see how Barry's boys would perform. Although the final score was a disappointment, there is still excitement about this new era in Badger football. Good evening, everyone. We will bring you reaction to today's football matchup in sports. But first, in the news tonight, Madison police are investigating an apparent murder. They say the body of a man in his 20s was found in the parking lot of the Mounts Paints Company on East Washington Avenue this morning. Police say the unidentified man was shot once in the chest. At this point, police have ruled out robbery as a motive. The man still had his wallet and his ID on him. Police are releasing very little else about the case. Some visually impaired people are telling the city of Madison thanks, but no thanks. The city is trying out a device that alerts the blind when it's safe to walk. The traffic lights give out a chirping and a cuckoo sound depending on which way it's safe to walk, but some blind people told the city engineer today to get rid of it because it makes it hard for them to hear traffic.
You hear the nice little birdie sound and the car decides to come on through the red light or whatever. If the Tweety bird hurts you from interferes with you from hearing the car, you're going to be meatloaf.
The group told the city that they appreciate the concern, but well-trained blind pedestrians do not need those audible signals. When we come back, we visit with our doctor on call. But first, football vendors say, don't fence us in. The people who do business near Camp Randall on game day say they've seen better days. This was the last day that vendors are allowed to hawk their goods on Breeze Terrace. It's a popular prime selling spot. From here on out, though, many business people say the situation is only going to get worse. News 3's Dana Lee Jacobson has our story.
Badger fans are still buying up anything and everything red and white. What used to be packed full of action has now dwindled. Dave Embring, a vendor for over 10 years at Badger games, says the situation is only going to get worse.
Had stuff bought in 6 months ago. I mean, getting everything so it was ready for the season, and all at once, boom, you know, I might have a spot next Thursday, I might not.
This season, only 23 independent vendors will be given selling permits. Usually it's close to 100. Less than a month ago, the Common Council decided the first football game of the season would be the last game for many. City officials say Breeze Terrace is a high-volume area and a dangerous spot for thousands buying souvenirs.
Could be a good year, but I can't sell, so that's the way it goes.
Independent vendors who want to stay here the rest of the season must pay a $100 fee and then get entered in a lottery. Joe Bishop says the new ordinance is unfair since there's no guarantee they'll get a spot.
To me, that seems almost illegal. That's almost like gambling. I just can't understand it. I think it's something between the city and the university here that's trying to put us out of business so they can, you know, have the full market here.
Others are quite confident they'll be here next week. This booth is affiliated with the university and is guaranteed a spot.
Novelty concessions will be here, sure.
Some of the profits from here will go to the university's athletic department. But for Dan Green, profit making doesn't seem to be in his future.
Go to the flea market, because I can't come back, so I'll just have to get rid of it somehow. What else can I do?
Dana Lee Jacobson, WISC News 3.
If you like to be a connoisseur of foreign food, but you're not sure what the different delicacies might do to your system, our medical consultant is here to help. Tonight, Dr. Zorba Pastor has the word on sushi.
Denise from the university wonders how healthy sushi is. She's heard that the seaweed wrap is good for you and nutritious, but she's heard that the raw fish is not the best thing for your body. Well, Denise, you're right about one thing. The fish isn't good, but let's talk about the seaweed first. Seaweed is touted by some as an excellent source of vitamins. In reality, you'd have to eat 3 ounces of seaweed to get 100% of your minimum daily requirements of vitamin A and C. And although seaweed contains small amounts of iron, potassium, and iodine, you're far better off getting those vitamins from fruits and vegetables that are a bit more tasty. If you've ever eaten 3 ounces of seaweed, it's not really very tasty. Now, the fish in sushi is another matter. Fish carries with it, raw fish, the definite risk of parasites. The risk is small, but the risk is nonetheless there. If you're ever in a seafood restaurant and you want to order some sushi, make sure the restaurant looks clean, and if the sushi doesn't smell good to you, send it back and order some cooked fish. By no means should you eat sushi that doesn't smell to you to be deliciously fresh. The other aspect is if you happen to be a sushi eater, as some of us are, because it tastes just so delicious, if you have any intestinal problems, talk to your doctor. And if you talk to them, make sure that you mention that you eat raw sushi and get tested for parasites. For News 3, I'm Dr. Zorba Pastor. Stay well.
Ed's in with the forecast when we come back.
The forecast tonight, look for mostly cloudy skies. There's a chance for a scattered shower, maybe a thunderstorm possible. Low temperature around 60 degrees, wind south around 5 to 10. Then tomorrow we can look for partly cloudy, sunny skies anyway, a chance for scattered shower and thunderstorms, but very slight chance. High around 82 degrees, wind southwest to west at 7 to 15. And then for Monday, we're going to look at conditions of becoming partly sunny. The high temperature around 80 degrees, winds northeast at 10 to 15. And the extended forecast then for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Look for partly cloudy skies on Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe a shower and thunderstorm activity into Thursday. And now back to you, Beth.
Thank you, Ed. Well, the Badger football season did kick off this morning. It was less than glorious beginning. Roger has our highlights up next. Well, even though we didn't win, I still enjoyed watching the game on television. I mean, it's a different football team, and I enjoyed it.
Well, this time of year is so exciting, almost as exciting as anchoring with you, Beth. But anyway, that's another story.
Thanks, Roger.
It was the big debut for UW coach Barry Alvarez and the Badgers. They started out strong with solid defense, but the California Bears turned things around in a hurry. Van Stout was at the game and brings us this summary.
Barry ball rolled into Camp Randall Stadium in hopes of trapping the Bears of California and kicking off a new era in style with a victory. The game got off to a favorable start when the defense set the table for the offense in the form of a fumble. Dan Batch makes the strip, Aaron Norvell the recovery, and that sets up the Rich Thompson field goal.
I was real enthused with the intensity in the defense, how he came right out of the chutes at him. I didn't think it was going to be easy.
The defense wasn't done. Brendan Lynch and Malvin Hunter combined to sandwich the Cal quarterback. Patrick Tompkins pounces on the loose ball. The Wisconsin offense was all set to celebrate an apparent touchdown, but an illegal motion call against Lionel Crawford nullified the sixth, and Wisconsin had to settle for half that, and more importantly, a loss in momentum.
It's hard for me to say, whether it was, illegal or not. I think when I patted my feet, I kind of made it look like I leaned forward.
That play seemed to ignite a string of misfortune. The defense gets caught in a blitz situation. Quarterback Mike Pulowski teams up with Brian Treggs for a 31-yard score and, more importantly, a 7-6 lead. Trying to put together a drive, the Badger offense gets rolling on the running of freshman tailback Rory Lee. A 14-yard scamper on his first carry. But on the next play, disaster. A fumble that Cal recovers, and their offense is back on track. 5 plays later, Pulowski goes upstairs to Mike Caldwell, and in a matter of minutes, the Bears had declawed the Badgers 14-6. Another of those big plays that backfired. Tony Lowry looking for 6. The ball is tipped. It ends up in the hands of John Hardy, who has nothing but 100 yards of brand-new AstroTurf in front of him. Perhaps a 14-point swing. 21-6 Bears as they deflate the Badgers at the half.
He was a little deeper than he should have been, and, I threw the ball where I thought he was supposed to be, and, just got tipped up, and things like that happen.
Wisconsin tried to use the airwaves to mount a second-half comeback. Lowry to Tim Ware for 18. Bill Williams goes up and pulls down one for 22 yards. Kevin Ellison, in his first collegiate game, gets the final yard of his 69 in the contest, and there's life in the comeback, 21-12. The Cal counters with one more TD, this by Russell White, and the Badgers go down for the count, 28-12.
I think maybe some of our inexperience showed up, but I'm not discouraged by our performance. It's obvious we helped out a lot.
One game does not a season make, and that's what the Badgers will pin their hopes on for next Saturday when they host Ball State. Van Stout, WISC News 3 Sports, Camp Randall Stadium.
Well, the Badgers weren't the only Big Ten team getting primed for conference action. 18th-ranked Ohio State hosted Texas Tech this afternoon and won 17-10. Later tonight, we'll also have scores from Illinois and Minnesota. Well, Argentina's Gabriela Sabatini did something today she's never done before. She took home a Grand Slam victory. Sabatini did it by overpowering Germany's Steffi Graf in the U.S. Open's Women's Championship match. Sabatini simply outplayed the German phenom in straight sets. Now, Sabatini went in confident she could win her first U.S. Open championship after strong play throughout the tournament. Graf is the two-time defending champion, and it was just 2 years ago that Sabatini came out on the short end of the stick. Today, the tournament was all hers. And speaking of power, Andre Agassi advances to the finals of the men's. This morning, he faced Germany's Boris Becker, and this behind-the-back shot pretty much summed up the kind of day Agassi had. In spite of losing the first set 6-2, Agassi dominated the next three, 3-2, 3, to take the match. This is his first time playing in a Grand Slam final. His opponent will be Pete Sampras. That's the match you just saw. And youth wins over experience in the other men's semifinal. 19-year-old Pete Sampras defeated 31-year-old John McEnroe in 4 sets, making it the first All-American final at the Open since 1979. The final can be seen right here tomorrow on Channel 3. Well, tonight the Brewers are at home against the Detroit Tigers. Jamie Navarro will take the mound. And speaking of pitchers, the Brewers acquired Julio Machado and Kevin Brown from the New York Mets to complete last Friday's Charlie O'Brien trade. So, of course, we'll have highlights tonight at 10 or whenever we come out. I don't know if this day is so balled up. I don't know.
It'll be 10 o'clock,
All right.
and we'll be right back.